Now, sort of conversely to what I just said, what do children experience in an abusive home where they are experiencing blatant abuse, they're experiencing blatant suffering, and yet all attempts to escape the abuse, all attempts to get that parent to stop the abuse is meant with attack, with counterattack, with denial, with deflection, all those things that a narcissistic or an abusive parent does. When a child lives in an environment like that, they develop something called learned helplessness. And they learn that no matter how much suffering they're going through and no matter how hard they try, there's nothing they can do about it. Even worse, and I've done therapy with a lot of people like this, even worse is when there's no family members, there's no siblings, there's no teachers, there's no coaches, there's no pastors or priests that are there to help them or to rescue them. So they live in a village that is also living in learned helplessness, and they're suffering in silence in the context of their abusive home. What happens is those children become severely depressed. They shut down. That is what I see happening systemically. That is what I observe in that I think, again, unless your head's up your ass or buried in the ground, you're observing a blatant rupture of all the most sacred agreements and values that we hold near and dear, and yet you feel like there's nothing you can do about it. If you're one of those people like I am that is witnessing great suffering and you're seeing a blatant rupture of all those things that you hold most sacred, but you feel like not only is there nothing you can do about it, but you're not seeing anyone else try to do anything about it, it is because we have been born and raised and adapted ourselves to a narcissistically abusive environment, an authoritarian environment, in which no matter how hard we try, the spoken and unspoken, written and unwritten, sacred values and agreements that we believe are necessary to have a healthy home and a healthy world are just being blatantly disregarded and denied. And if you try to hold them accountable, they will attack you and they will judge you and they will diminish you somehow. The reason I keep trying to explain this is because I do think it's the antidote, just like it's the antidote in therapy. The answer is healing. The answers have always been there for us. And I don't want to go off into some religious or spiritual context in this moment, because the moment I do, people turn off. And I'm not interested in separating and dividing and turning off. But what I will say is all of the answers have been there for us. And the word that I use is baptism. And I mean that in the transcendental sort of universal spiritual sense, that we need to be able to radically surrender the ego that we have developed in order to survive this treacherous place. And we need to discover that what remains when we surrender our ego and we take responsibility for the stories we're telling ourselves, what remains and what is discovered is love, is God, is peace. It has always been there. It is our natural birthright. So we were made to feel. We were made to have intuition. We were made to be connected with one another. We have been blatantly, deliberately, and consciously separated and divided and made to believe that our voices don't matter, and hurt and harmed and abused by a willfully conscious, sadistically narcissistic, and authoritarian world. That is not hyperbole. That is not dramatic. It is logical and rational and psychologically sound. The good thing is it does give us a treatment plan for how to proceed. Just like we have a treatment plan in therapy, there could be a treatment plan for how we can grow through this time. And it is going to take radical surrender, radical awakening, radical healing. We cannot keep acting out the ego identities that we have developed in the context of this narcissistically abusive home. We're just going to continue to hurt our siblings. We're going to continue to hurt each other. We're going to continue to perpetuate and give power to the sick narcissistic parent that is feeding upon us. I could go on and on and on. I'm just getting it out. I hope it's useful. For those of you that do connect with it, thank you. Thank you for being a part of my village. Take care.